offer you a choice.
One of the things that Dany has found immensely frustrating in the beginnings of this war against Cersei is that she's being asked to fight on a certain moral standard, and Cersei isn't. Because of that, Cersei has an advantage over her. A more ruthless opponent will often win.
Your Grace, nothing scrubs bold notions from a man's head like a few weeks in a dock cell.
I meant what I said.
I wouldn't say she's acting like the Mad King because it's rational. She's giving them a choice, and they choose not to bend the knee to her, and she accepts that choice, and she does exactly what she told them she'd do. You know, from her standpoint, she's not acting insane in any way. She's just being tough, which is what she needs to be to win. That's one perspective. Tyrion has a different perspective, and hopefully people watching it will have their own, and they'll decide for themselves whether they think what she did was just or immoral.
Dracarys.
Arya is very used to being more clever and more stealthy and smarter than any of the people she's up against. And she hasn't dealt with Littlefinger for a while, so she gets roped into spying on somebody who's actually leading her by the nose to something that he wants her to have.
I found it, my lord.
Lady Stark thanks you for your service.
He's looking for a way to prevent this sister bond from developing further, because the tighter that bond is, the more definitively he is caught on the outside of it. On the Sansa end of the relationship, he's seen the opening, and now all he needs to do is give Arya cause to display real rage towards Sansa, and he knows full well that with what's going on in Sansa's head with regards to Arya and how dangerous she is, when Arya starts to act dangerous and act angry, he knows where Sansa's going to turn.
How will Jon Snow try to convince people to fight for him against an enemy they've never seen before?
Cersei thinks the army of the dead is nothing but a story. What if we prove her wrong?
When the first Whites got through in season 1, they sent Alliser Thorne down with a hand that was, at the time, probably still doing this to prove to everybody that this was going on. By the time this hand got down there, it had rotted away to nothing and stopped doing this. There was the idea that bringing one of these things down south had been put out there before in a way that didn't work, but in theory you could bring one of these things down and have it still functional by the time it gets to King's Landing. That seemed like that would, on a story level, do the trick.
The first white I ever saw was brought into Castle Black from beyond the wall.
Bring one of these things down to King's Landing and show her the truth.
Like many of these situations on the show, the one who figures it out is Tyrion. The only way you're going to prove it to people is to show it to people. And obviously, we can't bring everyone up there, so that means bringing one of them down here.
And how would you get into King's Landing?
Wasn't sure I'd find you. Thought you might still be rowing.
Gendry played an important part in the lives of more than one main character in the show. It wasn't so much a question of whether to bring him back as it was how to bring him back. Given the relationship he had to Davos in season 3, and we ended up with a situation where Davos was the only way Tyrion was going to get to King's Landing to do what he needed to do. We realized that Davos could either be sitting, waiting by the boat, twiddling his thumbs, or he could go and look for the guy who ended up being almost like a surrogate son to him. His role just kind of took shape from there.
I'm Robert Baratheon's son, bastard son.
He's not going to lie to Jon about who he is, and especially when telling the truth could help him be a part of things, which is something he's probably wanted very much for the past 3 or 4 years.
Sir Davos told me where you're going, Your Grace, and why. Let me come with you.
Gendry is a little bit like Jon. I think it's part of the reason they start to like each other relatively quickly is he just wants to be honest, and he's meeting this young man he's never met before who's quite powerful. He's the king of the north, but also they're both bastard sons of powerful men who are friends of each other.
We could use the help.
The end of 5, where you get the whole team together, within 2 minutes, you realize that everybody has a good reason to hate everybody else. It's a real quick enmity ping pong match between them, and you realize that all these guys are gonna walk out into the wilds of the north together and try to do something extremely dangerous.